Karis, and today I'm going to be taking us through a flow that's a full body sequence, really focusing on stability, core, a little bit of glute strengthening, but with each movement there's going to be multiple layers. So if at any point a movement doesn't feel good, you're welcome to modify or just go back to the layer beforehand. If you've got any injuries, just take those into consideration as we move through the class. And this is really about having fun and just enjoying moving. If you feel it's not feeling good, skip the move, okay? So we're going to bring ourselves to the end of our mat. You're not going to need any equipment other than yourself and the mat. Your feet and knees are going to be hip distance, and you're just going to start by closing down your eyes, bringing one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly, and just take a moment here to think about growing really tall, allowing your shoulders to become heavy away from your ears, and just finding this moment of stillness. Every time in our day we try and take that moment of stillness, there's always some sort of interruption, a phone, someone asking you a question. Just try and bring your attention to how your body's feeling right now, so then we can compare how it feels at the end of the class. Do you have any little aches and pains? Does your mind feel busy? And as you take a really nice deep breath in and breath out, as you continue breathing like that, I want you to think about that expansion through the sides, the front and back of your body, and bring your attention to how your pelvic floor feels as you breathe in and out. Can you allow it to relax? And breath out. Next time, take a nice deep breath in, and as you breathe out, can you bring your attention to a little lift of your pelvic floor through both the front and the back passage? Imagine like you're getting a slight wrapping through your waist, which almost gives the feeling of pulling belly button to spine, but it's done through this feeling of the hip bones being pulled together, not just by you sucking in. Can you keep that little pelvic floor engagement as you continue to breathe in nice and deeply, out nice and deeply, and you should be able to create more of an engagement on the breath out. And then next time as you breathe in, let it all relax. Can you breathe out, find a little 20% engagement and hold it there. We're then going to allow our hands to drop down by our sides and take a nice deep breath in, reaching those hands nice and high. As we breathe out, nod your chin to your chest, softening the knees, and imagine your hands are being pulled forwards as your rib cage is hugging up to the ceiling. Allowing your head to hang heavy, allowing your arms to sink down. Just getting as far as you feel today. Maybe you're touching the floor, maybe you're a long way off. It really doesn't matter. Holding yourself there, soften the knees and start to roll back up through your spine, tucking your tailbone under, rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae, stretching your hands up to the ceiling at the top. Take a nice deep breath in. Breath out, nodding your chin to your chest. Take your time to roll all the way down. Just notice how this roll down feels. Does it feel a bit sticky in your back, your hamstrings? Hold it there at the bottom. Take a nice deep breath in. Breath out. Can you sink a little bit lower? Can you then take your hands to walk forwards and bring yourself onto your hands and knees on the mat? So your hands are going to be underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. And let's take ourselves into a cat stretch. So you're going to think about tilting your tailbone away from you, lifting your chest up and forwards. Imagine the hands and knees are pulling towards one another. Can you then tuck your tailbone under? Think about hugging the ribs up, allowing the hands and knees to push away from one another, really trying to move into your lower back. Can you keep the upper body still as you ripple through from your lower back first, allowing your belly to sink down to the floor, lifting your chest up and forwards. Imagine that you're showing off a necklace and find a spot in front of you to gaze at. Take a nice deep breath in, breath out, tucking the tailbone under, finding a scoop through your lower back, really focusing on that tilt of the tailbone, pressing into the hands, and then moving the opposite way. And then from here, can we find a nice midpoint between the two, where you feel you're pressing into your hands to create that lift of your chest. Press your right shin into the floor and stretch that left leg away from you. Hold it there, and then let's lift that left leg up. And then can you tap it back down? So we're looking at a space just in front of your fingertips. We've got a slight nod of our chin in, but imagine my hand is on the back of your head, and you're pressing your head upwards away from the mat into my hand, but still keeping that slight chin nod in. Now as you do that, you're showing off a necklace still. You're pressing into the hands. You're pressing into that right shin to feel like you're creating tension. So by just pressing down, your stomach muscles should naturally just kick on slightly. Now each time we lift that left leg, we want to feel like we're getting to the end of our range. If you feel like it's moving quite freely, I want you to just check that as you're lifting your leg up, you're not hinging into the lower back like so. Okay, so each time we lift the leg, we want to imagine like I'm poking your belly button at the end of the range to stop you sinking into that lower back. Last one, holding that leg nice and high. Now, as your knee comes towards your nose, allow your chin to nod to your chest, hugging that knee as close to your body, keeping your foot as far away from the floor as you can. Reach that leg away, find your neutral position again. Hugging the knee in, breath in. Breath out, stretching it away, finding that start position. Now, each time you hug the knee in, keep that left foot as far away from the floor as you feel you can. And as you stretch that leg away, find that nice proud position through your upper body. Can you get your knee a little closer with each movement? Getting into as much range through our hip, through our back as we can. Last one. Can you then stretch that leg away from you, hold it extended, and reach the opposite hand forwards? Can you take the hand around towards your hip? Can you reach the arm forwards? Now, can you pull your knee and elbow together, drawing your hand as close to your knee as you can? Reach the arm and leg, take the hand around to the hip. Reach it forwards, breath in, hug everything in. Breath out, push everything away. Breath in, take it around. Breath out, take it forwards. Breath in, hug everything in. Breath out, reach everything away. Keep going here. Now, as we're going, we really want to be pressing down into that opposite hand, opposite shin to create that lift. Reaching through our left toes. Let's go for 2. Make this your last one. And then reach that arm and leg away from one another, hold it there. Bring your right hand down, tuck your right toes under. Can you press up into a 3-leg downward dog? Can you lift that left leg nice and high? Can you then take it down to the floor? Can you lift it back up? Can you take it down to the floor? Don't worry if your right heel isn't on the ground. Can you lift it back up? Can you go for 3, 2, and on that last one, can you take it down to the floor, step it as far away as you feel you can, take that right foot to that same position, and take yourself forwards into a plank. And your hands should be underneath your shoulders, and tucking the tailbone under, pressing into the hands, create that lift of your chest. Can you go up into your downward dog? Can you rise onto your tiptoes? Can you ripple forwards through your spine and find a plank? Can you press your hips up? Now, if going into a plank doesn't feel good for you, as you ripple forwards, you're welcome to take your knees to the floor and find a half plank instead. Okay? And lift. One last time, rising up, ripple forwards, finding that plank, hold it there, take the knees down, untuck the toes, and you're just going to bring yourself up into high kneeling for a moment, taking the arms in front of you. Thumbs are in line with your eyes, and we're going to open the arms out. Close the arms in. Breath out, open the arms out. Breath in, close them back in front of you. Now, as the arms open here, what I want us to try and avoid is a flare of the ribs. Not because you're going to snap in half, you're not going to damage anything, but just simply you're not getting the most out of the movement. So as you press your hands back, it's almost like someone's hugging your rib cage to the back of your top. Like you're lifting your head away from your shoulders and find that same spot to gaze at in front of you. Now as your arms open, imagine you're squeezing them back and then you're pressing them forwards. Last one, can you hold that press back? Can you reach your hands up? Can you pull your arms down? Breath in, reach. Breath out, pull them down. Keep thinking about pressing those arms backwards. They should be in line with your ears. Try not to let them float forwards. Now, if you're a little bit restricted, maybe you're a desk worker, then you might find your body wants to come into this position. I want you to really try and imagine that you're showing off your chest, right where a necklace would sit on your sternum. Last one, bend those elbows, relax the arms down. Can you take your left foot forwards now? Tuck the right toes under. You're going to press into your left heel to push yourself up into standing. Create this nice length through your spine. Take that right knee to go as close to the floor as you can. Push yourself back up. Now, if you need to adjust where your feet are, then do. You breathe in, go down. Breath out, push up. As you're going down, I want you to really be thinking about digging through this left heel. And then as we come back up, imagine like your front heel and back foot want to pull together. So as you come up, it's like the feet are pulling inwards towards one another to give you that power to come up. We breathe in, go down. Breathe out, pull them together, push yourself back up. Last two. One last time. And then we're going to take ourselves down into that lunge and hold it there. We're going to sweep our hands forwards and straighten the back leg. We're going to sweep our hands back, find our lunge. We're going to sweep our hands forwards, find that nice long lunge. Sweep your hands back, bend the back knee. Now, if this does not feel good on your knees, instead, you're welcome to come into a squat and just extend the back leg instead. So you can come forwards into a squat and just reach the back leg if you want to. Okay? Last two. One last time. Can you keep those arms reaching forwards? Back leg straight, front knee bent. Hold it there. Can your hands then press back? Lift up that back leg. Tap the toes, reach the arms forwards. Breath out, push. Breath in and reach. Now, as you do this, you're pressing into that left heel. Can you make your toes feel nice and light? As your hands press back, think about squeezing them past the hips. We go for 3. You should feel your left glute engage. 2. One last time, press the hands back, press the foot back, hold it. Can you step your back foot as far away on the mat as you can? Sweep your hands down, stretch that left arm up, hold it there. Can you bring that right knee down to the floor? Can you then sink your hips back, straightening that front leg to take yourself into a little hamstring stretch? Can you then rock your body weight forwards, lifting the chest so it's nice and proud? Can you push your hips back, finding that hamstring stretch? Don't worry about how far you can get. We just want to think about the length. Last one. Then we push our body weight forwards, bring our hands to the inside of that foot. Tuck the back toes under, straighten the back leg, and can you push into a plank? Adjust your hands back to shoulder width. Hold it there. Can you then press your bum back towards your heels? Can you then shoot your body weight forwards? Can you take a nice deep breath in, send your bum back, breath out, shoot your body weight forwards. Keep going. Now as we shoot forwards, think about pressing the weight in front rather than sinking down. Last 2, like your head's trying to touch the wall in front of you. Last 1, push your body weight forward, lower the knees, sit your bum back for a second, reach your arms away into child's pose. When you're ready, sweep yourself up onto your hands and knees. Now we're going to do everything on the other side. So our right leg is going to start by extending away from us. We're going to create this nice lift through our upper body. Our right leg is going to lift. It's then going to lower. Pressing our left shin into the mat. And really thinking about pressing into our little finger to engage around our shoulder blades a little more. Now, as we're doing this, our gaze is in front of our fingertips. And when I say about lifting the back of your head, if you're a little bit confused by that, what I want you to imagine is that your chin is slightly nodding in like a double chin, and my hand is on the back of your head, and you're pressing your head up into my hand. Now, as that back leg lifts, we're trying to engage our glute max and hamstring. So if you're feeling it in your lower back instead, think about leveling out those hips. And at the end of the movement, like you're pushing your foot up into an imaginary resistance, like my hand is above it, and you're squeezing it up and tapping down. Last 2, pressing into those arms. Last 1, hold that leg nice and high, hold it there. Breath in, can you hug your knee in? Rounding everything. Breath out, reaching that leg long. Breath in, hugging that knee in. Breath out, reaching that leg long. As that leg hugs in towards your nose, really try and think about taking that foot up away from the floor and really hugging the rib cage nice and high. Breath in, hug it all in. Breath out, extend, become nice and long. Last 2. And reach. 1 last time. And extend that leg, holding it there. Can you then make sure those hips are pointing down at the floor, reach the opposite arm forwards? Can you take it around towards your hip? Can you reach it forwards as your knee comes in? Bring the hand to the inside of the knee and reach everything away. Semicircle the arm round. Reach it forwards, pull everything in. Breath out, reach. Breath in, sink it around. Reach it forwards, hug it all in. Last 2. One last time. Reaching it away, bringing that arm down to the floor after we're reaching it forwards. Extend that leg, bring it to the ground. Tuck the back toes under. Can you push yourself up into your 3-leg dog? Don't worry about how it looks, but take that right foot to the floor. Can you lift it nice and high? Now this hamstring feels a lot tighter for me. It won't look as pretty, and I can feel it pulling quite a lot. So what I could do to try and ease this is I could take my left foot back a step, or I could bend the knee slightly if I really needed to. And lift. Last 2. Last 1. Taking that foot as far away as I can, stepping the other foot back, rippling myself forwards, and then rise up nice and high. Rolling through the spine, and then pushing yourself up. So we're trying to get a little bit of a spinal wave here. So as we rise, think about rolling through the spine, and then as you go up, almost getting a little extension. If this does not feel good, you could go back to hover to plank, like we did before, or you could go onto your knees. Last 1, holding it there. Can you bring your right knee down to the floor? Bring yourself forwards, bring yourself up. So we're up in high kneeling. From here, we're going to tuck the back toes under, grow nice and tall, then we're going to push ourselves up to standing. We're then going to sink down over that back leg. We're going to push ourselves back up. We're going to sink down, breath in, breath out, push back up. Now each time, think about pressing into that right heel, and as we come up, like we're pulling the front foot and back heel together. Now remember, I'm doing this with you. There's no cheating. I'm struggling probably just as much as you are, and I've still got one side that's a lot weaker than the other. A lot of that comes from demonstrating, always on my stronger side, the same way you'll have a biased leg. Last 2. Maybe it's from football, maybe it's from ballet, whatever it is, don't worry about it, we're all slightly asymmetrical. This time we're going to go down and hold our lunge. We're then going to reach our hands back. We're going to push ourselves forwards. We're going to press our hands back, find that lunge. We're going to reach, breath in, breath out. Now what I want you to get used to is that feeling of transitioning your weight forwards and backwards. Breath in, take it forwards. Breath out, take it back. We're going to go for 3 more. Press into that right heel, make your right toes feel nice and light as you come forwards. 1 last one, hold those arms forwards. Can you sweep your hands back, lift your back leg, and take it in front. Breath out, reach. Breath in, take it forwards. Breath out, lift that leg, lift your arms, breathe in, sweep it in front of you. Keep going. Can we go for 3? Find that little gaze in front. 2. And last one, holding that leg nice and high. Can you then take that foot as far away from you as you can? Can you take your back knee to the floor and straighten that front leg? Taking your hands to frame your foot. Can you rock your body weight forwards? Lift through your chest. Can you rock your bum back? Breath in, sinking back into that hamstring stretch. Breath out, lifting your chest up. Last 2. Last 1. Now, as we sweep our body weight forwards, can you plant that front foot, hand into the floor, that front foot, straighten that back leg, reaching your hand nice and high. Can you then bring both hands to the front of your mat? Now, rather than stepping the front leg back, can the back leg step forwards? It doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. Mine wasn't particularly pretty. Holding yourself there at the bottom of the move, and can you bend your knees? And can you sink yourself down onto your bum? Okay, so we're near the top end of our mat. If you need a sip of water, grab a sip of water. So, we're going to have feet and knees hip distance, reaching our arms in front of us, growing nice and tall, and then flip your palms to face down. And I want you to imagine like there's a resistance pushing up against them, and you're pressing down into them. Think about the shoulders pressing down away from your ears as you do that. And then from here, can you tuck your tailbone under, like I've poked your belly button? And think about scooping just through your lower back. So you should feel like you've rolled off your seat bones to your coccyx, and then like your lower back is pulling to the floor. Press into those hands. Can you then scoop forwards and sit tall at the top again? Breath in. As you roll back, it's like your belly button is being pulled to the mat behind you. You're scooping through the lower back, and our shoulders are still sinking down away from our ears, and then we're scooping forwards and sitting nice and tall. So keep continuously thinking, hands pressed down, and what we're trying to get is the movement initiating from the lower back again, rather than hunching through the upper body. So think collarbones wide, arms pressing down, and then scooping forwards and sitting really tall. Last one, finding that C shape. And can you hold it there? Keep pressing those arms. Can you then lift one arm? Can you take it back in front of you? Can you lift the other arm? Can you take it back in front of you? Now, if this feels good, you're going to keep going here. If it doesn't feel good, sit back up and do the previous movement again. Now, as you lift your arm, I want you to imagine like you're pulling against a resistance band. You're pulling it up, you're pushing it back down. Breath in, lift. Breath out, take it forwards. Keep going. Now, what I want you to adjust is a little tuck in your lower back again. Keep feeling like your rib cage is being hugged back, and you're going to keep your collarbones nice and wide. Last one, hold them in front. Hold it there. I'm shaking so much here, and hold it. Can you roll back slowly? The slower you go, the more challenging it's going to be. And at the bottom there, reach your hands nice and high. Can you keep your lower back rocked slightly into the floor, but don't press it down? So we're in more of a neutral alignment. From here, activate the pelvic floor just like you did at the beginning of the class. Lifting your right leg up to single tabletop, hold it still. Now your rib cage is nice and heavy, nothing else is going to move. Let's see if you can sweep your left foot to your bum and lift it up into double tabletop here. Squeeze the feet and knees together, take the arms wide, and press the backs of the hands down. Can you take those legs over to the left-hand side? Can you then press down into your left hand, pushing yourself back up and going over the other way? Now, as your legs go over to the side, you're going to keep thinking about those feet and knees being stacked and stuck together, and one bum cheek lifts away from the floor. As you pull yourself back into center, you're working through the side of your waist to pull you back up, pushing into the opposite hand to help lift you. Keep going. Last one. and then pull yourself back into the center, hold it there. From here, can you extend your left leg? Can you pull it back in? Can you extend your right leg? Can you pull it back in? Can you reach your legs over to the left side? Can you pull them back to center? Can you take them over to the right side? And pull back to center. We're going to extend one leg. Pull it back in. Your lower back stays still. Reaching the other leg. Pull it back in. Twist to one side. Twist back into the center. Twist to the other side. Now you're going to keep going in that pattern. But what I want you to really be conscious of is that your exhale is on the bit where there's the most effort of the move. So your exhale naturally lifts your pelvic floor. You're going to tap into that. And as you're pressing your knees back to center, imagine like there's a hand against the top leg and you're pushing against it to come back to the middle. You're going over the other way, pushing into it to come back to center. Let's do a final one on each side. Back into the middle, last little twist. Other twist. Back to the middle, hold it steady. From here, let's sweep one leg away, pull it back in, other leg away, draw it back in. As you're doing this, keep thinking about that wrap through the abdominals, engaging through our pelvic floor, transverse abdominals, a little bit of the obliques to help keep us nice and steady. Now your focus here is the level of your hips nice and equal? You're not dropping one down more than the other. Do you feel like you're activating your lower abs? If you feel like you're really grippy in your hips, if you've got a resistance band handy, you can always push into the resistance band instead. I want us to all think about we're pushing something away from us. We're pulling us in. You will feel your hip flexors work because essentially we're flexing the hip and then extending it to reach it away. Last one, pull yourself back to center. Hold that double tabletop. And then can you take one foot to the floor, and as you do so, bring one hand behind your head, take the other foot to the floor, take the other hand behind your head. From here, you're going to take a crunch, scooping through your upper body. Can you then lower your head back down? Can you take a breath out, scooping up? Breath in, taking your head back down to the mat. Can those elbows stay in your peripheral vision? And as you curl up, I want you to think about pulling the feet towards your bum slightly. So we're nice and active through the legs as well. We're curling up, but keeping our lower back nice and still. So the movement is coming from our ribs. So even if I was to keep my head on the floor, I should feel my rectus abdominals, especially gripping up into the upper abs, working to pull me up. It's not coming from me just pulling my head. Last one. Hold this curl here. From here, can you then lift your right leg up? Keep the hips nice and still. Take it down. Can you lift the other leg up? Just giving those hip flexors a little break. And we're working to maintain that crunch. Can you keep those elbows in your peripheral vision? And keep thinking about the shoulders becoming heavy away from the ears. I want you to notice, are you gripping through your jaw? Can you relax your facial muscles slightly? Can we go for one last one? Hold that leg lifted. Now, if you feel happy to, scoot the other foot to your bum, hold it in double tabletop, squeeze the legs, reach your arms long. We take it into our hundreds. We breathe in for 5. We breathe out for 5. Good, keep going. Now, as we're pulsing those arms, again, think about that resistance. We're pushing down, we're pressing up. We breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Imagine like you're reaching to the end of your mat here. Keep going. Now, if you feel comfortable, let's extend those legs. We can breathe in, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep going. If you're feeling it in your lower back, bend those knees back in or pop your feet on the floor. Last 2 sets. Squeeze the heels. And hold. Hug everything in and relax. From here, can you then take that right leg up to the ceiling and stretch that left leg long? Reach that leg nice and high, and can you flex your foot? Can you point your foot? That extended leg that's on the ground, can you think about pressing your heel away to the wall, drawing your toes towards your knee? And that leg that's in the air, press your heel to the ceiling, pull your toes to your nose, and then point the other direction. Last one, let's hold the foot flexed, hold it there. Hold it there. And then can you take that leg across the front of the left thigh, taking yourself into a nice deep glute stretch. Can we then swap the leg? So the right leg extends and that left foot is elevated. And then we just push that right heel away and point and flex that left leg. Think about keeping those shoulders nice and heavy into your mat. Flexing that foot, pressing through the heel, pointing those toes. Let's go for a few more here. Last two. Last one. Let's flex that foot and then let's draw that leg across, holding onto the back of the other leg, taking it into our figure 4 glute stretch. Breath in, allow your out breath to help you guide that leg a little bit closer. And then from here, let's reach that right leg long, let go of the back of it, reach your arms overhead, stretching that left leg away. Now, if you feel happy to, lifting your arms, scooping up through your upper body, pressing your lower back into the floor, reaching up to the ceiling, take those feet a bit wider than your mat. Can you take those arms nice and wide? Keep sitting really tall. Can you twist to one side, reaching the other hand back, reaching the opposite arm forwards, pulling yourself back up and twist the other way. Now, as you reach to your foot, imagine that your arm is pulling towards your little toe. The back hand is pulling away from you, and like you're pressing your left heel into an imaginary wall, pulling yourself back up. Let's twist the other way. So as we reach, it's like the hands are being pulled apart, and like the leg that you're reaching towards is pushing away from you. And then pull yourself back up. Last one. Twist. Reach. Pulling yourself back into the center. When you're done, bring yourself onto your hands and knees, however you want to get there. Tuck your toes underneath you. And from here, can you press your heels to the floor, walking your hands to your feet, dropping your head down, and take a nice deep breath in. Breath out, unlock those knees, start to roll up through your spine, taking your time, reaching your arms nice and high to the ceiling. Breath out, nod your chin to your chest, taking your time to scoop all the way down to the floor. Holding yourself at the bottom, and just see how that feels a little bit different to the beginning of the class. Does it feel a bit looser? Can you get your hands a bit further? Do you feel those hamstrings or lower back niggles a little less? Can you then unlock those knees and start to roll yourself up? At the top here, just growing nice and tall, and bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your chest again. Closing down your eyes. Now, this might be the point you think, I'm going to turn you off, I've got other things to do in my day. But I challenge you to just take 60 seconds to just breathe. If you're one of those people that really wants to turn me off, you're probably one of the people that needs this the most. So as you breathe in and out nice and deeply, I want you to allow your shoulders to shrug up to your ears slightly. Breath out, let them drop down. Bring your attention to your jaw. Can you unclench it? Can you let the teeth part? Can you release that space between your eyebrows? And as you breathe in and out, just reflect on how your body feels different to the beginning. Can you stand a little straighter? Take one final deep breath in. Breath out. Relax everything, and you are done. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you feel a lot better and you enjoyed it.